Oh, Boo, you're here again. Awesome. Video 20. I was mentioning in the other video that I got a book because we read the quote from Thomas Merton, which was, happiness is not a matter of intensity, but of balance and order and rhythm and harmony. And weirdly enough, I mentioned yesterday, I picked up a book of Thomas Merton's. I found it so I could tell you what it is. And I actually got it for free from my local second-hand shop. They have a section of books that they always have for free. And this popped up. I picked it up the day before we read that quote. So I was like, wow. And now I can tell you what it is because I got the book in front of me. Contemplative Prayer by Thomas Merton. I've decided it seems like a weird synergy systems, whatever you want to call it, that it came across my path, and I was reading a quote by him the very next day. So I'm going to read this, and I thought this was good. So once you finish this 33 alcohol free, if you're interested in meditation and maybe like I am, getting back into it, I haven't done it for a long time. So I'm going to journey and get back into my meditation practice. So if that's something that you want to get into after going alcohol free with me, then you can move on to this next thing, which I will be doing. Who is this guy? I don't know. I'm unraveling all that myself. I'm on a journey. I'm not the meditation guru, but I'm on a path. I've done some meditation courses. So if you want to learn with me, come and learn contemplative prayer. It will be from a Christian perspective, so Christian meditation. So if that doesn't scare you away, he'll talk about God and Jesus. So I'm gonna get into it. So once you finish this, come join me. You know where to find it. Anyway, today we're dealing with depression. Yesterday was pretty full on with working out the buzzkill of alcohol. Ugh. Ugh. Anyway, I was just lost in thought. I'm still unpacking. But let's get into depression. Let's not get into depression. Let's let's learn the effects. I don't know what's in this. Let's find out. Quote by Anonymous. Stars can't shine without darkness. Yeah, you can't appreciate light. Light cannot exist if we don't have the opposite, I guess. What are you drinking? I've got tea tonight. Let me know. You know the drill. What are you drinking? Drink with me. Often it feels like depression and alcohol are linked in this chicken and egg scenario. What came first? the alcohol or the depression? Alcohol itself is labeled as a depressant, meaning it suppresses our arousal levels and reduces excitability. It's capable of causing both sadness and depression, as well as making a sad situation worse. I've personally struggled with anxiety, says Annie. We know Annie wrote the book, The Alcohol Experiment. You got a physical copy in front of you, or you just listening to old Grandpa Paul, a man readeth. So Annie says she struggled with anxiety and depression since she was young. And I was officially diagnosed with clinical depression almost 2 decades ago. So she was clinically depressed. You may have some sad situations in your life, and maybe sad, maybe depressed. And alcohol makes those situations worse, apparently. Let's find out how. So you might imagine that Annie was particularly interested in this area of research. When you use alcohol to numb your sadness, you're also numbing anything that makes you feel happy. So it's not just pinpointing the sad emotions, it's like numbing every emotion. And that only worsens your depression. It's kind of like when you get a shot of Novocaine at the dentist. You may only need work done on one tooth, but the chemical in the shot affects that whole side of your face. So, on one side of the chicken and egg scenario, alcohol does chemically cause depression. On the other side, depression can actually lead to alcohol addiction. They're sort of both happening at the same time, it seems. So in Annie's case, she says she could remember being filled with an anxiety and depression from a young age. Your experience may be different. Yeah, I was not a depressed child. Did you go through depression young? Have a ponder. But I used to look outside myself for something I was missing that would make me happy. Like a boyfriend, career, house, a husband, marriage, children. As I achieved these things one by one, I would still feel this sadness and emptiness. So I'd become obsessed with the next thing I was missing out, always putting happiness in the future. So once I get this, once this happens, then I'll be happy. And happiness can only be felt in the present, I guess. Eventually, I had it all. At the top of my profession, marriage, family. I had a beautiful house in Colorado. She's from Colorado. There you go. I couldn't think of a single thing I needed to make me happy. Yet, I was depressed. And that's when my drinking became a real problem. I was already a daily drinker, but it wasn't until I no longer had anything external to obsess over that I turned to alcohol to numb my pain. She had nothing like, oh, another kid. Another kid will fix this. How many kids are we going to have? Even though I was on 3 different prescribed depression medications, nothing solved the problem. Wow. In a way, I believe my alcohol addiction saved my life because it forced me to turn inward and figure out what was actually going on. I like that sentence because this book and me stopping has made me realize there's some stuff I need to shift in my life. And stopping the cycle of drinking so often has helped me go, all right, there's some things that I do need to shift. So realize what actually is going on. Yeah, it's true. Continue, Annie. It forced me to finally face my depression head on. So the things that caused me to drink in the first place, I was trying to, how you going? In that moment, I began a painful, terrifying, life-affirming journey inside to know myself and accept myself just as I am. Sadness and all. So the situation you're in at the moment, it's the way it is. Accepting that you're doing the best you can with the information that you've got. So cut yourself some slack. You were dealing with it in a way that society and way we've been brought up, even our chemical imbalances, of course, it's been programmed and reaffirmed that this is helping. So accept the sadness of what maybe life is now and say, yeah, this is how it is now. I have to confess, I felt so much guilt about being sad given my amazing external circumstances. True, on the outward, my life would seem amazing. But for some reason, I ended up in this weird spiral. What really matters, whether your depression came first or your alcohol is causing it, it doesn't matter. I would say I have the sadness, maybe depression, I don't know, came after alcohol. Yeah, what's it for you? Was it, do you, thinking back before you were drinking more, was it the depression, sadness first, then the alcohol, and then this cycle? For me, it was the alcohol bringing in depression, and then I got in the cycle. Questions, interesting, ponder. What matters is that the feelings are there and that you want to feel differently. Wanting to feel differently? At least for me, I wanted to have a box to put those feelings into, a reason for them. If you're feeling sad, will your brain, even though it could be just a chemical reaction from taking alcohol, a depressant, will your brain come up with reasons for the emotion that you're feeling? It could be just a chemical imbalance. So your brain will go, I'm feeling sad. Why do I feel sad? And it'll come up with a reason. Question, I don't know, but it just got me pondering. Once I stopped drinking, my mind kept seeking a reason for my feelings of sadness. And the only thing that had changed was that I no longer drank. So that's what my brain latched onto. I'm sad. What have I changed? I'm not drinking. So therefore I need to bring it back. Little thoughts came into my head like, you weren't this sad when you drank. It's not fair that you've cut out such a powerful tool. Maybe just one glass of wine would make you feel better. It's the abstinence that's making you feel sad. But it could be just your body's gotten used to releasing chemicals that counteract what's happening in your body. We learnt about that in that last chapter. Of course, I knew these thoughts weren't true, especially later when I applied the ACT technique. But that didn't stop the thoughts from being there. And when we're depressed, we obsess. We blow the thoughts up, huge, and make them true inside our heads until the thoughts become a compulsion. So I became obsessed with research, and my research proved me definitely that self-medicating with alcohol is a terrible idea. It leads to neurochemical addiction, and it prolongs the bouts of depression. It prolongs the depression because I never had to come face to face with the pain, sadness situation. I was never forced to address the real issues. When I looked back through the lens of the ACT technique, I remembered that I was far more depressed when I was drinking than I ever was without the alcohol. My brain was trying to trick me, sneaky little brain, and I just had to remember the truth. If you don't know the ACT technique, we spoke about that in the introduction. Finding my truth. It took work and effort for me to unpack all these emotions and try to understand them. It took a lot of patience with myself to accept that some feelings just exist and there's no reason for them. It took a lot of acceptance to love myself. Sadness, emotions, all of it. None of that was possible when I was self-medicating with alcohol. I was too numb to actually make the effort. Yeah, I'm too hungover to actually do the life admin that I need to do. And my life now is so much better, and I have much less anxiety, fear, and depression than at any other time in my life. I'm no longer on medication, and I have the tools to handle the occasional low periods when they come along. Getting healthy tools to deal with these emotions, 100%. Depression is incredibly complex, and every person experiences it differently. One thing that I know to be true, though, is that alcohol doesn't help. It only makes the problem. It only makes the problem. Yeah. And makes it worse. Alcohol does cause depression. Alcohol does cause me to be not active in life. And it's sadness, depression, not being proactive that causes issues. Not being aware and sidestepping and taking control of things before they come creates life to be more of a train wreck, I guess. Okay, today, realize that alcohol can be either the chicken or the egg. In fact, it could be both at the same time. Now that you've been alcohol free for a little while, it can be tempting to buy into this idea that if you're sad or depressed, it's because you're no longer drinking. That's the reason. Yeah, I think I'm over that hurdle now because remember, I'm 2 days ahead of you. So there is a bit of light. Like 3 days, 3 days ago, I was thinking, oh, I could fix this with the drink. But now yeah, feeling better. I'm, with this knowledge, I know that I'm thinking of alcohol differently, thinking that those chemical buzzes that we learnt yesterday is not worth the depression coming later. Only half an hour of buzz and then trying to get back to that and ending up worse than we even started. So my start level is better. Even if I don't get a buzz, I am at a better buzz just normal than with alcohol. That's what I'm thinking now. I know that was true for me. She used to think that she sounded depressed because she wasn't drinking, but thinking clearly for a bit. Apply the ACT technique to this. All right, so I won't ramble. Were you this sad before you started drinking heavily? No, I wasn't. Were you at a sad level before drinking? Did alcohol actually make you happier? Or did it just numb the pain just for a little while? Now that you've removed the alcohol, are these feelings new? We removed the alcohol. It's like this baseline of feeling okay that has come back. So I'm not going beep, 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 beep. It's just subtle. Are you feeling that? Or in the next couple of days, you might start feeling this baseline. Sit in it. There's no right or wrong answer. I only ask that you be honest with yourself. Shine a light in the dark places where you hide secrets, even from yourself. What's hiding even from yourself? Push in. Feel this presence of you there. You are. Yeah, let's not get too deep. That's where you'll find the truth. Is this bad feelings, good feelings, numbness stuck in the middle there? Are we sort of, after staying in this numbness or nothing, relax in it to maybe balance towards the happy, maybe. Reflections. So we've got Jordan. This has been such a great experience. I never could have imagined how life-changing this has been for me. Now that the alcohol is gone, I have clarity and peace every day. Yes, they are stormy thoughts and emotions, but they will always be there. The alcohol just numbed them temporarily. Dealing with them without alcohol makes me see how manageable they are. These big dark feelings. It's a dark pool of get drowned in, but a non-drinking state, you'll get to an emotional level where you're like, okay, let's jump into this big black abyss, and you may find it's just that much water, and it's only up to your ankles. But from staying away from it, you're not going into it to find that, wow, I can manage this. It's only up to my ankle. I'll sit in that and I can deal with it. But looking at it from afar, it's just like this big black water. Step in. They are just fleeting thoughts, nothing more. So good to have me in control again. Jordan. Joy. That's cool. We need some joy. Have you seen that movie Inside Out? Is Joy at the controls? Good movie about dealing with emotions. It's a cartoon about this girl, and it's the control panel in her brain. She's got joy, anger, sadness, and they all come up and take control. Really, really interesting movie. I think the psychology is actually correct in it. Inside Out. It's good. Watch it. I'm getting people to watch cartoons. I'll keep reading, Paul. Joy. Depression is such an important issue to talk about. My father suffered from depression and no one ever talked about it. I feel like there was so much shame about the topic, like you are not allowed to have depression. I am finally trying to heal this part of my life and not numb out. There is no shame in depression. It can, in many ways, be a gift. I am learning how to breathe through it and acknowledge pain without letting it take over. Breathe in it. Come and learn about meditation, contemplation. I think that's what we'll be talking about, breathing techniques. I hope. I'd like to learn some. Thank you to everyone who writes comments and reads. You all have been so important to me. Yeah, thanks everyone for joining. And for those of you who are brave enough to write a comment or put an emoji or gives me a thumbs down. But this guy rambles too much. He deserves a thumbs down. Give me a thumbs up this time. You made it this far. Were you too drunk? You couldn't skip the video? I'm sorry about that. I hope you learnt something. When you're sober, you may not be able to find my channel again. So thanks for joining me just this once. But if you're coming back tomorrow, let's get into video 21. Science of sharing. Some more science we're going to learn, which is good. Let's get science. Thanks again. I'll stop rambling. You go have a good night. Have a good sleep. And I'll see you tomorrow.